now let's go to the 4 criteria which they assess: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy, and finally pronunciation. Guys, this is what they are going to assess. Nothing more, nothing less. So stop wasting time when you're practicing this speaking module. Let's first start with fluency and coherence. Specifically, let's start with fluency. So guys, with fluency, it's very important that you reduce those ums, those awkward pauses and hesitations. You can reduce them with, fillers, boosters, time wasters or time buyers. What do I mean by this? If they ask you a question, like, what do you think about this? And so you could say, in my opinion, that's an interesting question. That's tough to say. If you ask me, yes, such, time buyers, they just simply, contributing to your fluency, as the idea is trying to do what? To come by. So under fluency, you are really expected to speak at length, while reducing those pauses. But when you're speaking at length, everything has to make sense, guys. Don't try to speak things which are incoherent. No. So, whereas moving on to coherence means that there should be what? A logical flow in what you're speaking. I told you the other formula of REE, which is you respond to the question, you explain, and explanation, there is reason, and then you finally give the what? A descriptive example, not just listing an example. So this is all contributing to your what? To your coherence. So under coherence, guys, you're expected to also use some linking words. Try to link your sentences. Don't just speak simple sentences which are separate. No, try to use things like because, although, however, despite this. They feel like as though they are what? They are fluency markers. Fluency means that you speak a word, that means someone who's listening to you expects you maybe to contrast, maybe to add on, like besides. Yes. So guys, moving on to lexical resource. Lexical resource, we expect you guys to put that paraphrasing, especially when it comes to part 1 of speaking. Guys, when they ask you, where do you live? You could say, I reside, I dwell. You're simply paraphrasing the question. Don't try to use the words the examiner has used. No, just try to paraphrase what they've used, and this all comes with the practice. With time, everything will feel as though it's at your fingertips. So guys, an lexical resource or vocabulary. Another tip is try to use topic related vocabulary. What do I mean by this? If they ask you about adverts, try to show that you have some vocabulary related to this topic, not complicated vocabulary that you are uncomfortable with. No. For example, with advertising, you could say celebrity endorsement, online ads, transit advertising, billboards, such topic-related vocabulary. That just simply shows the examiner that you are indeed good at what? At your English skills. And under lexical resource, we also expect you not to use fancy vocabulary that you are uncomfortable with, something which you just learned yesterday and you're trying to use it on the speaking test. No, just try to use the normal English that you use on a day-to-day basis. Remember, this test is about being chatty, so try to present your best self in just these 14 minutes. Second, lastly, please try to use few idioms. This is something I just talked about under the tips. Yes, don't try to fix idioms. No, they should just come out naturally. And last but not least, try to use synonyms, especially when it comes to part 3. Synonyms feels like as though it's paraphrasing. Yeah, so try to create another wording that will depict the same meaning as the question. So guys, yeah. And speaking of I'm over saying soya is okay, but don't overuse it. Anyway, guys, moving on to grammatical range and accuracy. Yes, it's range and accuracy. Let's start with accuracy. So accuracy, the more sentences you construct or you speak out in your speaking test, the which are accurate, the higher is gonna be your band score, because it's fine to make a few errors. It's absolutely natural, and then you self-correct them. It's absolutely okay. However, if they are if they are very many, if they are often, that will definitely lower your band score. That will definitely lower your band score. That will definitely lower your band. And then speaking of range, good enough with the several questions which they ask you. They try to they change the tense. They will ask you about past, present, future. So all this has already assessed your range, so no need to over worry about it. But if you can, try to mix those sentences. Try to use past continuous, past tense. Try to predict in your answers, especially when it comes to part 3, thereby showing that you have a range of a range of tenses. And speaking of range, this also includes using a number of sentence structures. For instance, we have simple, compound, questions, things like that. Try to mix them in your answers. So guys, last but not least, under grammatical range and accuracy, you have to speak slowly. Speaking slowly will save you a lot of silly grammatical errors, trust me. And at the same time, speaking slowly will also improve on your on your fluency. This is because our brains they try to they think slower than how we speak. So the moment you favor them by speaking slowly, ideas will simply just come out at the same pace as you speak. So thereby, bettering your speaking band score. So last but not least is pronunciation. Guys, I've just talked about speaking slowly. Speaking slowly will also, save you from what? From pronunciation errors. Remember, speaking slowly will save you from silly grammatical errors. It will improve on your fluency, and it will also improve on your pronunciation. When you speak slowly, it will the words will be audible, and the examiner will hear each and every word, no matter your accent, trust me. And last but not least, under pronunciation, try to incorporate intonation and word stress. What do I mean by this? If you're depicting happiness or something, try to change the way you try to change the tone of your speech. For instance, you could say, I went to the bar and I was so excited. That's like a tone. You're expressing the what? The experience. That will, trust me, increase your band score, and at the same time, make the person who is listening to you understand what you're trying to illustrate. Remember, this speaking test is just to test you how you will communicate in what? Like abroad, like whether you're in a classroom, whether you are in an academic environment. This test is just there to improve on your speaking. Can you guys imagine, like, before the IELTS test, I used to fear interviews, but as soon as I finished my IELTS test and scored well in speaking, the way I go for interviews is just so fascinating. Yeah, so guys, this test is just there to improve your life, so don't fear. So guys, with this said, I guess you guys have picked something, and I wish you all the best in your speaking IELTS test. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more informative content.